Chicago has the same kind of lake effect. You've got the wind coming in off the lake, and you drive about 15 miles, and it's like there's a curtain there. You're in a snowstorm for 15 miles, and then it stops within a quarter of a mile, and you're in clear sky country. Exact same thing.
Maybe for Thursday, Ron, I'll send you an excerpt of that short video, and it sort of leads into one area that's totally covered in snow, but then they've got a night vision over, I think, over the city of Buffalo. And they've got all the lights of the city shining up, and you see this just total wall of snow just going up and over. And it's pretty dramatic.
Yes, 7 feet of snow, no matter where you live, is a lot of snow.
Yes, indeed. And it's the sad thing about it is, of course, people do go out and try and shovel, and it's a heavy snow, it's a wet snow, and people go out and try and shovel that, and of course have heart attacks and succumb to very, nasty, they die. And so it's or they slip and get a broken hip, that's the other problem.
One of the storm tracers got out of his vehicle on a plowed street and took his measuring tape with him and just literally struggled through the snow until it was up around his neck. And I'm going to say this guy was probably 5'10", 5'11", something like that. And he just took this thing and put it down through the snow and said, 5 feet, 7 inches or something like that of straight down.
Yeah.
So Ron, do you shovel snow, or do you have somebody come and shovel it for you?
Since we live on the water in a very temperate area, we rarely get snow. I mean, there's lots of snow up in the mountains, but we don't usually get snow down on in our area because we're right on the water. And if we do get any snow, it melts within a day or two. And so my strategy is stay at home till it melts, we change because, prior to going to Mesa 10 or 15 years, our winters we used to get, maybe a month of snow, but that's changed. It's all changed, and we don't, it just doesn't happen with global warming. So it's, I just let it melt. And also we usually get a lot of rain, and once it warms up, it rains, and that gets rid of it real quick.
So when I started going down to Mesa, I gave our snowblower away to one of my neighbors. And this year I got on the internet and looked up the almanac, and it said we're supposed to have heavier snow or more snow than usual here. So I went out and bought a used one and had it rebuilt. And anyway, I got that puppy all fired up and ready to go.
You can tell people from where they're from. If you drive along and you see people and they have snow blowers out, they came from the prairies. They moved here. They're not natives because they bring their big snow blowers from where they had lots of snow. It's quite interesting. But the people who live here generally, snow blowers are a hard sell.
Yep, they actually make some new snow blowers now that are more along the lines of the new automobiles. A friend of mine has, it used to be when I was in the snow areas, if you had an electric snowblower, it was a lot weaker than a gas-powered snowblower. And now you can actually get a jack put in your garage to charge up your EV snowblower. And they actually have a lot more power than a gas-powered snowblower.
Yeah, Ryobi's got one out. It's about $1,200, and at least in Canada, and it's powered by 4 40-volt lithium batteries. And it's the same ones I use for my lawnmower and stuff like that, but it comes with 4. And apparently it's got a lot of power, and you can go out and you're right, it gives really good shoveling and so on and so forth. Yeah.
I saw a video on YouTube. No, it was on Facebook. A guy had a fire thrower. It was melting the snow on his driveway using a flamethrower.
A flamethrower. Yeah.
And you don't
I
have
wonder
to
if you
shovel.
had to have a permit for that flamethrower to use it if it was a burn day.
Yeah.
Probably burn your house down.
Yeah. Carl, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Well, I've got my feeling like I'm like Bob over there. I've got a head cold. I just returned late yesterday from Atlanta, and I tried out that flight radar 24 that you
Oh yeah, what do you think?
announced. Well, when I was on the tarmac, I was looking. It was a pretty good view of showing, the area. But the plane I was in was like jumping around. It wasn't a continuous movement. It seemed like all of a sudden it made 90 degrees every once in a while, and I knew it couldn't do that. Then when I was in the air, it didn't work at all. I don't know why. It's connected to the Delta Wi-Fi, but
Poor
I have no
connection.
idea.
Yeah, that's the one thing you have to have you've got to be connected, and it's just so slow. And that's why when it jumps around a lot, that's a slow connection as well. So you'll find that if but it showed you where you were, and it showed you the takeoff time, and it showed you all that, eh?
Yeah, well, it showed me going down the runway, but it was a little lag because we were already, off the tarmac when it showed we were still running on the tarmac. But other than that, it was clever. You just think about that so many years ago, that would have been, like science fiction.
Yeah. There was a big accident in Lima, Peru yesterday, where an aircraft, I think it was 767, was taking off, and it hit a fire truck. And in the accident investigation, they were on the TV, they were using the video footage from Flight Radar 24 for to piece together what was happening. They were talking about, here's the data from Flight Radar 24. So it's everyone uses it. It's pretty cool. You will find there's a slight lag for security. I guess you wouldn't, for security reasons, you wouldn't want exactly the location of the aircraft known. So there's always maybe a 2 or 3 second delay, but it's pretty close. Like I sit there at the airport when I do my volunteer work on Wednesday, and I can see the airport and see the planes landing, and I have it on my flight radar, and it's pretty darn close. Like it's not perfect, but it's not supposed to be, but it's maybe 1 or 2 seconds difference.
Yeah, I attribute it to processing time, because and like you said, a slow connection. But I do have another question. I used to have dual video on my OnePlus phone.
Right.
It's not on there anymore. And I went and did a search for it. It comes up nothing.
It's Google Meet. So if you look on your phone, you will look for Google Meet. You'll have Google Meet installed on your phone. You don't know that, but you go and look, and it will be Google Meet, MEET. And if you open that up, you'll see any contacts you have. All your Duo stuff is all there. Any contacts you have is all there. I talk. Where's Greg? I talk with Byron. Greg, I talk with Byron all the time, each week, and we always talk on Duo. And I went to call him this week, and you're right, Carl. It wasn't there. Duo was gone, but I have it in a folder. I had Duo in a folder for communication, and in there was Meet, right? MEET, which is the new one. And so click that, bingo, it all works the same.
Okay, very, very good. Yeah.
Just look at it. It's Meet.
I was trying to show it off to somebody, and I was just perplexed,
Yeah, I know. I got stuck on that this week. So you're right. You're absolutely. We should do a video on that. That's a good point. That's a good.
Did a video on it.
Did you do a video on it?
Sure did. Told you all about why. Duo was going. Duo was going bye-bye. And
Right.
Meat was replacing it.
Did we play that on the show, Bob? Do you remember?
As far as I know, you did, yes.
Okay. Might be a good idea to maybe replay that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anybody that has an Android phone and has the Gmail app has the Meet feature built into the app.
Right. But
There's a little video button on the other side.
Yeah. But there's also a Meet app as well. And I think if you had Duo installed, it just reinstalled the Meet over top, maybe an Android update.
I've got a non-technical question for you, Ron. When somebody says temperature, like here right in Troy is 37 F, you automatically know the equivalent in C?
Well, I'm an old guy, right? And so I'm sort of back in the days of Fahrenheit and pounds and, you know, the old not grams and centigrade. So I sort of, in fact, I'm ambidextrous or whatever you want to call it, bilingual, let's say, and I understand both, but my kids don't. If I said it was 72 degrees Fahrenheit, they'd have no idea what I was talking about, right? They grew up in centigrade, so there's no they're not, right? So but yeah. So I have all my Miss A devices in Fahrenheit. I just leave them in Fahrenheit. It's easier. So I'm sort of bilingual.
Well, down here in the US, they haven't made that switch yet. It's still Fahrenheit and
Oh, I know. I know. So
When I was in grade school, they tried to convert us to centigrade, everything metric, but didn't work.
yeah, well, I prefer
Yeah.
it. Much easier.
yeah.
Now they don't even call it centigrade anymore. It's called Celsius.
5 F plus 32.
Divided by 5/9 times, yes.
Well, the one I use is 9/5 C plus 32. And then if it's the other way, it's 5/9 F minus 32.
Yeah, I use Alexa.
If you studied high school chemistry or any engineering class,
Yeah,
That
but
would be
Fahrenheit
good.
is always more than centigrade, so you got to go plus, not minus, don't you?
Well, I'd be interested to know what Detlef has to say because he was raised in metric. So what do you do? I mean, do you understand what Fahrenheit is?
I do something really different from what all of you are doing because you're converting stuff. I'm looking at, there's a couple of different temperatures that one of them is freezing of water, and that's 0 and 32. The other one is when you're comfortable outside, and that's 72 degrees or 21. So if I now look at the temperature, if it's close to one of those, I have an idea whether I should be hot or cold. So
well, you left out the other one, and that's a 112.
yeah, well, I never stick my hand in water that's hot.
No, but getting back to Mike, it's 9/5 C plus 32. So if you have C, you're going to add 32 because you're starting off with C, which will then give adding to 32 gives you the Fahrenheit differential.
So don't forget Kelvin. Don't leave him in the mix.
Who?
And actually, I kind of cheat like Ron does too. I'm looking at, I've got two temperature indicators here. It tells me it's 0 degrees, 0.5 degrees outside and 19 inside. And then on the other one, it says it's 70 inside and 29 outside. So it depends on which one I look at.
But now they have these, what's really confusing in Canada, they have a different thing besides calling it wind chill factor. You call it something else. I don't know what it is, but it's some other name.
You haven't even addressed speed with kilometers per hour versus miles per hour.
Well, that's easy. I always remember 0.6. So if I'm going 100 kilometers on the freeway, I know I'm doing 60. It's just 0.6. It's very easy.
Didn't a state or two try to switch their signs to kilometers? And I don't think it went over very well.
Yeah, I've seen places where they've had both sometimes. But you can get confused if you're driving on I-75. You think the speed is 75.
Well, I remember back in the 50s, I rode a friend's moped that he had imported. And I was so excited because the speed was so high. Then I told him, he laughed at me, he says, "This is kilometers, not miles."
Interstate 19 between Tucson and Nogales, Arizona is still all and only kilometers.
Really? I drove that. I don't remember that.
Yep.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah,
they
that's
say
because of
KM?
all the trucks that go between Mexico and that particular destination point. There's probably more trucks from Mexico than there are American cars. So that's the main reason they have it that way.
I have a question. Has anybody had any trouble with the new Google Mail? I've been having a terrible time switching between accounts. I have three Google accounts, Gmails. And the old iteration, I could click on the icon and have my other accounts right below it and switch back and forth really easily. Now half the time I get something called My Account, which doesn't do me anything, or I can't get out of it. Has anybody had that problem?
Jim, I have 5 accounts and I don't have a problem with it. Of course, I pay my bill.
What bill? Are you supposed to pay?
Yeah, if you're on, I have a business, so I run it through Google Business thing.
Oh, well, this was just the regular Google until they came up with the upgrade to their new Google Gmail. And ever since then, switching between accounts has become a real pain in the you-know-what. And I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I haven't, Jim, I haven't, I know what you're talking about. I mean, if you come up to your picture for your Google account there, manage Google account, it says add another account, and you should be able to just put your other account in that. So that brings a drop down menu. Now, I don't know if you've got tabs open at the top of your browser and you're switching between tabs and different accounts, if that's going to work so well. I don't know. I just don't do that. So I can't answer that.
Yeah, well, I've tried that, add another account.
Mm-hmm.
It works once. Then I go back. If I have to shut the machine down or it goes to sleep, I come back up. It comes with my so-called master account. And I go under that, just like you said, and there's nothing there. It says add another account every time.
Okay, so that might be a good topic I'll put that down on my list of things. That's a good topic to have a look at. Maybe that'd be a good video. We can have a look at that, Jim.
Yeah, there's another one, by the way, I was going to ask to look at it, and that's something called Google One.
Oh yeah, Google One, right?
Yeah, I haven't figured that out either. I increased my memory. I paid for the added memory for Google Drive, and all of a sudden it says Google One.
Google One, that's right. It's so as you add memory, you can purchase it, and the Google One is the service. Google One has
storage, not memory.
Yeah, storage. Yeah, storage. So you're right, and that's Google One.
With Google One, you also get some extra editing features for Google Photo.
There's some other advantages in that. So and that's a service that Google provides. So Jim, that's now the thing that you should just to let everyone know that if you purchase any equipment from Google and you actually purchase it at the Google store, then you get credit on your Google One account. You can get up to 10% off of your purchase. So if you purchased a phone for $800, you'd get 10%, you'd get $80 accredited towards your Google One account. So there's some advantages in purchasing some equipment if you're going to buy Google equipment, buying it from the Google store. Elaine, go ahead.
On Jim's question, whether it could have anything to do with the two-factor authentication, which they have recently started, at least. I'm new to
Good point.
Google Mail
Yeah.
too, and Gmail, and it wants to always give me, it wouldn't even give me the account without having me okay two-factor authentication. Now, if you're
Mhm.
going to a different account, I wonder
That's
if.
right. You need a second two-factor on the different account, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So then I
Yeah.
can sign in, yeah, and even in fact, if I switch from something to something else, it wants me to go through that again.
Right.
So I wonder if that could be part of the problem.
Could be. Yep. You could be right, Elaine. Yep. Good point. Yep. Good point.
I know you got seconds left, but the two-factor I use with Google now, it goes to my phone and it doesn't ask me to put a number and just ask, are you Carl?
Right.
If you're
Push
online, that
notification.
will work. If your phone
Right.
is not hooked up to wireless, and I don't leave my phone hooked up to wireless, then it will send a text. And you
Right.
have to enter the 6 digits.
But I love that simplicity.
Yeah.
Well,
We have got to get going here. Sorry, Phil. We'll carry on with this discussion in the Q&A, which should be fine. But we need to. The show's got to go on. We've got to get going here. I'm going to mute everybody, and we'll get ready to roll. Good morning or afternoon or wherever you are. Welcome. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior. This is episode 138. It is November the 21st, and it is going to be Thanksgiving this week. Want to thank everyone for coming today. We have a big show for you today. In the show, if you're watching this today as a guest, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. If you are watching this as a YouTube replay, thank you. And if you are watching this as a short promotion on YouTube, just click the link and you'll come right to the show. The show today is about an hour long. We're going to start out with our little introduction now. And of course, we want to wish Bob Gustisha a happy birthday. We want to, he's going to do his security news update. Mike Ungerman's here with his very popular part 2 in EV cars. We're going to talk about, Bob's going to talk about online shopping and how to be secure with that. I'm going to talk about a new feature in our newsletter on YouTube channels. Hewie's going to talk about the search side panel in Chrome. And of course, Ray's going to finish it with our music segment. So we have a big show for you today. After the show, we have a question and answer period, and that'll go on for about 20 minutes till about 20 minutes past the hour. And then we have our premiere video for you today at 1:30, and this will be on YouTube. I will be putting the link in the show notes or in the chat as we go through today, so you can click on the link. And of course, those of you who subscribe to our Saturday newsletter, our free Saturday newsletter with no ads in it, we'll of course have the link and know maybe you've had a look at it already. In the premiere video today, we're going to be talking about, I'll be talking about 5 tips for two-factor authentication, something we were just talking about. Now, Dewey is going to talk about, Dewey, of course, we were mentioning earlier, Dewey's going to talk about Roku devices or TV apps. And the reason I put this in there was for this reason. Dewey and I, back in another life in Mesa, Arizona, when we were part of our computer club, we spent a lot of time connecting in people into Roku. We hooked a lot of, or Fire Sticks, and we always always recommended that people use either a Fire Stick or a Roku device rather than the app on a smart TV, because we thought they worked better and were faster and just did things better. I recently, as you all know, I've had a whole bunch of TCL TVs, and I recently bought a Amazon Fire Omni TV, which does not have a built-in Roku device in it, and it just works off the app, and it works really well. And Dewey commented on this last year and said, you know, maybe what we were saying has changed now, and maybe the apps on TVs are just better. And so he talked about this in his video, and I thought this was very appropriate. So I put that in as the second item. And of course, the third item, Huey's going to talk on that very popular talk, the Wayback Machine. And all that will be on at 1:30. This week, of course, we want to thank everyone for coming, and also safe travels, and have a good holiday with your family, and don't shovel too much snow if you're going where the snow is going. We will have a show for you on Thursday. Just to remind everybody that our Tech for Senior Live will be a show. There'll be Ray and I, Mike Ungerman, will be on for we'll be on this Thursday. So there will be a show as we have always on Thursday, but it will be this Thursday. And we do appreciate it's a holiday. So, but if you're sitting around, you have nothing to do, and you're just enjoying life, we'll be there for you on this Thursday. And of course, if you miss it, we do podcast that out. So I'd like to just introduce everyone today. Hewie, you got anything to say?
Yeah, also on Thanksgiving, we are canceling the Learning Chromebooks.
Oh, right, yeah.
For the month of November, which will also have been on Thanksgiving, but it would have been right in the middle of your dinner.
Exactly. So, yes, but we'll be having, actually, you know, and I was looking, the new OS has Chrome OS, what, 10, was it 108, 101, whatever the new one is got a whole bunch of new features. So we can do some cool stuff in December, right?
Great. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. So we'll do that. And then, of course, I do want to, I've mentioned this before, I do want to wish Bob a very, very happy birthday today. Bob, of course, works tirelessly, as we all do, to produce Tech for Senior. He's been with us since day one. He's a great guy. We really enjoy working with Bob. He produces a lot of videos, and it's just so much fun. And he really, I think, sets the tone of the show. So now I've said all those nice things about Bob. He can't say anything because he's, of course, got laryngitis and he can't talk. So Bob, just smile. Just give us a big, there you go. Give us a big smile and let us, we love you. And we do wish you happy birthday. Okay. I hope you have a nice
happy birthday, Bob.
Hopefully you have a nice time today with Alice, and you, you know, it's a special day for you. So please enjoy the day and just smile. Don't talk. Okay.
Fortunately, Alice is sick too. So.
Oh. I'd send you a cake, or I'd bake you some soup. I'd make you some soup, or I'd do something for you, but I can't get it to you. That's not possible. All right. So anyway, and then of course, Ray Baxter's here. Ray tells me he doesn't have any snow yet, which is sort of, he lives up in the mountains there. How come you don't have any snow?
Because we don't want it right now.
Okay.
Wait till Christmas time. Busy time of the year for me with APCUG. We're getting all the renewals in. So for those of you that are part of clubs, and if you're the treasurer or one that handles the club's money, now's the time to send in your dues if you haven't already. We'd like to get it all done this year.
Great. Good reminder. Thanks, Ray. And of course, we have our special guest. Well, not really special guest, because he's sort of part of our clan, Mike Ungerman. Mike, who it was just telling me he's ordered a new EV. Do you want to tell us what one you chose? The Fisker.
See from the license plate, if you can see my background, it's a Fisker, manufactured in Austria and purchased directly from the manufacturer.
Really? That's interesting. So when do you think you'll get it?
2 years?
Really?
Hard to
All
say.
right.
Just me and 60,000 close friends are on the waiting list.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. I'll be darned. Well, we have, I'll just let everyone know we're still slugging along, going around and looking at all the dealerships and having fun looking. So we're still the looky loos. And I look forward, Mike, to your section today. I'm learning so much. My brother's looking for a new car as well. I was talking to him on the weekend. He said, "You're just doing all the work. I just need to talk to you once a week and you'll tell me all the stuff you've done." So I thought, I got to learn some more. I'm learning so much from this process. Anyway, thanks, Mike. And we look forward to your section today. Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you. Don't say anything. Just play the video. There you go.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending November 18th, 2022. Over 15,000 WordPress sites compromised in malicious SEO campaign. A new malicious campaign has compromised over 15,000 WordPress websites in an attempt to redirect visitors to bogus Q&A portals. These malicious redirects appear to be designed to increase the authority of the attacker's sites for search engines. Security researcher Ben Martin said in a report published last week, calling it a clever black hat SEO trick. The search engine poisoning technique is designed to promote a handful of fake, low-quality Q&A sites that share similar web building templates and are operated by the same threat actor. A notable aspect of the campaign is the ability of the hackers to modify over 100 files per website on average, an approach that contrasts dramatically from other attacks of this kind, wherein only a limited number of files are tampered with to reduce footprint and escape detection. Read more at the Hacker News. TikTok can be used as an aggressive weapon by China against the U.S., FBI Director says. FBI Director Christopher Wray reiterated the Bureau's long-standing national security concerns about Chinese-owned video app TikTok to lawmakers Tuesday and said the agency is sharing its views with officials who are weighing a deal that would allow it to keep operating in the U.S. Wray told lawmakers China's government could use the app to control millions of users' data or software and its recommendation algorithm, which determines which videos users will see next, could be used to influence operations if they so choose. Under Chinese law, Chinese companies are required to essentially, and I'm going to shorthand here, basically do whatever the Chinese government wants them to do in terms of sharing information or serving as a tool of the Chinese government, Wray told the House Homeland Security Committee. That's plenty of reason by itself to be extremely concerned. Read more at South China Morning Post. Google settles location history lawsuit with 40 states and will pay $392 million. Google has settled a privacy lawsuit with a coalition of 40 state attorneys general. Today, Google agreed to pay $391.5 million in misleading location history settings the company was running from 2014 to 2020. Google's location history settings have gotten it in trouble with several regulatory bodies. The action began after a 2018 Associated Press article pointed out that the location history checkbox didn't control all Google's location history across your entire account, and that many location tracking features lived under a second checkbox called Web and App Activity. Consumers might turn off the location history checkbox, thinking it stopped all Google location tracking, but it was only for a single Google Map feature. Google lost the case in Australia over this setting in 2021 and recently settled a separate lawsuit with Arizona for $85 million. A few other states still have pending lawsuits. Read more at Ars Technica. Iranian hackers compromised a U.S. federal agency's network via Log4Shell exploit. Iranian been blamed for compromising a U.S. federal agency by taking advantage of the Log4Shell vulnerability in an unpatched VMware Horizon server. The details, which were shared by the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, come in response to incident response efforts undertaken by the authority from mid-June through mid-July 2022. Cyber threat actors exploited the Log4Shell vulnerability in an unpatched VMware Horizon server, installed XMRig crypto mining software, moved laterally to the domain controller, compromised credentials, and then implanted ngrok reverse proxies on several hosts to maintain persistence. CISA noted. Read more at the Hacker News. FTX's new CEO says crypto exchange suffered complete failure of corporate controls. The new CEO of embattled crypto exchange, FTX, John J. Ray III, helped manage the fallout from one of the most infamous financial collapses in the last several decades, that of Enron. But in a bankruptcy court filing Thursday, Ray called the situation at FTX a failure unlike any he's seen. FTX, once the second largest cryptocurrency exchange, filed for bankruptcy on Friday after a rival exchange, Beyonce, backed out of a deal to acquire it. Former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried resigned and is said to be in the Bahamas. Read the whole story at CNET. Facebook will remove political and religious views from profiles on December 1st. Your Facebook page will say less about you in a few weeks. After an early citing by consultant Matt Navarra, Meta has confirmed that it's removing addresses interested in read sexual orientation, political views, and religion from Facebook profiles as of December 1st. The move is meant to make Facebook easier to navigate and use, a spokesman told TechCrunch. If you filled out any of these fields, you'll get a notification about the change. Read more at Engadget. Tim Cook says Apple will use chips made in America from 2024. Apple is preparing to source its chips from U.S. and Europe manufacturers within a couple of years, as Bloomberg reports. During an internal meeting held in Germany, Apple CEO Tim Cook confirmed that the company will start buying chips made in the U.S. from 2024. Cook said, "We've already made a decision to be buying out of a plant in Arizona, and its plant in Arizona starts up in 2024, so we've got about 2 years ahead of us on that one, maybe a little less." See more at PC Mag. Intel unveils real-time deepfake detector, claims 96% accuracy rate. On Monday, Intel introduced Fake Catcher, which says is the first real-time detector of deepfakes. That is, synthetic media in which a person in an existing image or video is replaced with someone else's likeness. Intel claims the product has a 96% accuracy rate and works by analyzing the subtle blood flow in video pixels to return results in milliseconds. Ilke Demir, senior staff's research scientist in Intel Labs, designed Fake Catcher in collaboration with Umar Siftsy from the State University of New York at Binghamton. The product uses Intel hardware and software, runs on a server and interface to a web-based platform. See VentureBeat for more. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. The holiday season is almost upon us. Here's some excellent advice on being a savvy online shopper. Read the article at the link listed, or watch my video by following the YouTube link. Did you know piano strings are high tensile steel wires? Some in the bass range are also wrapped in copper wiring. The total pulling strength over the whole set of strings inside a piano is equal to roughly 35,000 pounds. Bubblegum is pink because that was the only food dye available in the factory where it was made. Plants have ways of communicating with each other. The scent of freshly cut grass is equivalent to a cry for help. Just thought you might want to know. That wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. I know my voice hasn't really gotten any better. There's always next week. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Bob. I appreciate the fact that you obviously did that in multiple takes as you did your first one section. I saw you slowly your voice was going down, and then you popped up and did it a second one. So it was a tough one to do. So we appreciate all the work that you did. So thanks so much. Don't say a word. Keep quiet.
It was a long one too.
Don't say anything yet. Rest that voice. All right. Now here's what we've been waiting for. We are going to Mike Ungerman's part 2 in EV vehicles. I know that there will probably be some questions, but remember, we'll hold those for the question and answer period afterwards. So let's see what Mike has to say.
Hi, I'm Mike Ungerman of the Central Florida Computer Society. Today, we'll continue with the second in a series on electric vehicles. In our first presentation, Dan Edmonds defined for us the 3 types of electric vehicles, or EVs: gasoline-powered hybrids, HEVs, gasoline-powered plug-in hybrids, PHEVs, and 100% battery-powered EVs, or BEVs. If you haven't viewed his excellent video, click back on the Tech for Seniors video archives. As I commented in my previous series on solar photovoltaic systems for the homeowner, the purchase of an EV is also a major expense, and with prices these days likely to be one of the most expensive acquisitions you make. It pays to be prepared for the purchase of an EV as you research the sales methods you will be encountering, whether direct from the manufacturer or with the vast majority of traditional automotive dealers. As of last year, only 22 states allow for all vehicle manufacturers to sell vehicles to customers. Another 11 states allow for only one manufacturer, Tesla, to sell vehicles, often in a limited number of locations throughout the state. When looking at the growing number of EV companies entering the market, it's clear that allowing only one manufacturer to sell vehicles directly to customers is not enough. More states need to allow people to buy EVs directly from the manufacturer. These limitations and artificial barriers will ultimately reduce customer choice, prevent certain vehicle manufacturers from entering the market, and stifle EV sales and climate goals. Luckily, several states are considering legislation that would allow for direct sales beyond just one manufacturer. A father and son team, Ray and Zach Shefska, have formed a service, Your Advocate Alliance, with a website and YouTube channel. Their videos are both entertaining and educational. We have received permission to include their content in our presentations. Here's one of several I plan on using, this one on the potential of direct-to-consumer sales becoming the EV sales model of the future.
I think this is the biggest story that we're going to talk about this year on the YAA YouTube channel, and it is all about Ford and Model E, and it is not a new vehicle that they're creating. It is a new business that they've developed.
What business might that be?
All right, so here's the deal.
Yeah.
We've been all on top of this for months now. Okay, many states have carve-out laws that allow electric vehicle companies to sell directly to consumer.
Yes.
Just the other day, literally 2 days ago from the time you're watching this video, Ford comes out and they announce, we're setting up Ford Model E. Jim Farley, who's the CEO of Ford, is also going to be the president of this new company that's under the Ford umbrella. Ford Model E is not a new vehicle. It's a new business unit that's going to be solely dedicated to selling and manufacturing electric vehicles.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Why would Ford want to do something like that? Sure, maybe you can make the case that it allows them to focus their energies and hire software engineers and not be, encumbered by the pressures of the ICE vehicles. No, it's so they can sell direct to consumer, okay? That is what I see coming here. Look at the carve-out language for all the different states that allow EV companies like Rivian and Lucid and Tesla to sell direct to consumer. You just got to not have prior franchise dealer agreements in those states. You know who doesn't have a franchise dealer agreement with anyone?
Would this be Ford's new
Ford Model E does not have any. I'm telling you, man, biggest story we're probably going to break this year.
I know you've felt this way for quite some time, that you have predicted this was going to happen. You have read the different carve-out laws and you thought, okay, the only way these big players can do it is to create separate businesses. There's 200,000 F-150 Lightning reservations through Ford dealers.
Yep.
How do you take away the EV vehicles from the Ford dealerships, from your franchise dealer body moving forward?
So here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Do you think Ford's not watching what's happening already? So for example, what I mean is with their own dealerships, they're sending out, I know you don't like me talking about these stupid memos, but they're sending out memos. They're saying stop price gouging. Stop bait and switching. What is happening over at Kia? You can't even buy the Kia EV6 because the dealers don't even care to sell them right now. They're marking them up $20,000. So these OEMs are looking at that and they're saying, okay, we don't love from the press release that Ford put out. It reads like this. Ford Model E also will lead on creating an exciting new shopping, buying, and ownership experience for its future electric vehicle customers that includes simple, intuitive e-commerce platforms, transparent pricing, and personalized customer support from Ford ambassadors. Now, let me just flip the switch over here. This is from an automotive news article that talks about carve-out laws. Massachusetts, the proposed law would allow an auto manufacturer to own or operate a dealership if it previously had no franchise agreement with the dealer in the state with no requirement that the dealer sell only electric vehicles. Fantastic. You want me to read the one from Nebraska? Would allow manufacturers to own or operate dealerships if they do not or have not had any franchises representing such manufacturers' line make of motor vehicles and only sell the line make of motor vehicles that it builds. Ford is setting up a whole new business, whole new whatever, C Corp, S Corp, LLC, whatever the sole proprietorship. I don't think that's the one.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. They're setting it up. They're putting out all the fluffy language, talking about how it's going to be a better buying experience. And they're looking at the laws that are going to be passed over the next, I'm not saying it's right now, but over the next 5-10 years.
I get it.
And they're laying the foundation for that.
I get it. And one of the reasons that they want to do it is because, well, they want to be able to have a 10% profit margin overall. And they think with the sale of electric vehicles that they'll be able to get there if they have a dedicated business to the electric vehicle space. Well, I would agree that they can probably reach a 10% margin if they cut out the middleman. Okay, in the past, they've built the car, they know what their cost in the car is, and then they mark it up and they sell it to their dealer. And then the dealer has a margin built into it and then can ask for above margin and get it. Then, Ford and other manufacturers have to be thinking, well, if we build it for X and our dealers have proven that we
can sell it for more,
that it could be sold at Y, well, then why aren't we just building it at X and selling it at Y ourselves, and we can dramatically increase our profit margin. So if the whole concept behind this is the pursuit of profit and profit margins, which it is for these businesses, then ultimately, yeah, it's going to make sense. And that's obviously the direction that Ford is now telling their dealer body, hey, we love you. And we love you selling our ICE vehicles, but you ain't going to be selling our electric vehicles in the future.
And that's again why I think this is one of the biggest stories we'll break this year, because they are the first major automaker. And they're not, to be clear,
Yes.
they're not explicitly coming out and saying, hey, dealers,
Yeah.
we're looking 10 years down the line here and you're not playing a bigger role. They're not saying that. They're saying this is so we can set up a dedicated business unit
Yes.
so that we can hire the right people, have the right people run it. But if you read between the lines, if you've been in this space long enough, KPMG did a survey back in December of last year.
Yes.
1,100 auto executives,
Yes.
ranging from startups to OEMs. You remember some of the stats from that?
Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to share them with
By
me.
2030, do you
Yeah.
believe the majority of new vehicle purchases will be completed online excluding test drive? 78% of respondents said yes.
Yeah.
By 2030, what proportion of new cars will be sold directly to consumers by automakers in your home market? 12% said 80 to 100% of sales will occur that way by 2030. 34% said 60 to 79%, and 28% said 40 to 59%. 23% said 20 to 39%. Everyone thinks that a proportion will be sold directly to consumers. This is a great example of that. This question: how likely are you to divest non-strategic parts of your businesses in the next several years? 11% said extremely likely, 34% said very likely, moderately likely received 30% of the votes. You know what I look at?
But 75% are either moderately, very, or extremely likely.
And you know what that says to me?
Yeah.
The question was non-strategic parts of your businesses. You know what's going to be non-strategic part of Ford's business in 2045?
ICE?
And dealers. They're seeing the opportunity to carve that path. They're not going to say it explicitly, but you know, if you read the same headlines we read, if you do the research, you know exactly what this is.
Well, if you're a Ford dealer, you know exactly what it is as well.
And it'll be interesting to see on the buy-sell side, if people try and sell Ford dealerships, how that impacts valuations.
Oh, I would think it would impact valuations, and I would think it's going to engender a myriad of lawsuits moving forward.
And a lot of consternation between that OEM.
The
and
one thing
dealer
I know for
relationship.
sure, lawyers are gonna make more money in this space than they have in a long, long time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so we got the article back on the Join YAA website. Justin, thank you so much for getting that up. Read the article, read the press release. We'll be keeping our fingers on the pulse of this story, because I think throughout this year, and especially like between now and 2025,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of learnings about what the future of buying a car looks like.
Yes.
And again, this headline from Ford, you got to dig into it a little bit, but if you dig in, you realize, okay, this is fundamentally changing how people buy cars. That's the expectation.
That's what they're.
here.
Yeah. That's pretty much what they're saying.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, you might have been right.
We'll see. We got a couple of years to wait. All right, Pops. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I want to thank Ray and Zach for their informative video on direct-to-consumer sales. Their report on Ford's announcement is available at this link. As I continue my research, I'll identify those EV manufacturers that now sell direct to the consumer, as well as those with the potential to do so in the future. In future presentations, I'll focus on how to arm yourself if you choose to purchase a new EV from a traditional automotive dealership. Just one comment. They used the abbreviation ICE when they were referring to the Ford dealers that might want to divest. ICE stands for internal combustion engines.
Okay, thanks. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll talk about that in the Q&A, Mike. But thanks for doing that. I hadn't heard any of that. That's really interesting. All right, Bob, are you ready to roll? Don't say a word.
Be a savvy online shopper this holiday season. Bad actors are lurking behind malicious links, fake apps, fraudulent websites, and phishing emails all over the internet. Here's how to stay safe. With the holiday shopping season starting earlier, And earlier, you've probably already jumped into the world of holiday online shopping this year. But as your text messages, emails, and social media advertisements fill up with killer deals, we want to make sure you're checking off the items on your list and staying safe. That's because while the popularity of online shopping has grown exponentially in recent years, revenue from online shopping has grown by nearly $3.5 billion since 2019. So too has cybercrime. Unfortunately, bad actors are lurking behind malicious links, fake apps, fraudulent websites, and phishing emails all over the internet. But don't fear, I'm here to not only protect you from the bad guys, but also teach you how to protect yourself. Next, we'll explore 6 tips on how to be a savvy online shopper this holiday season. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Number 1, watch out for fakes. Fakes are everywhere online, and they're abundant during the holiday season. Whether it's a deal on a designer product that just seems too good to be true, or a fake website masquerading as a legitimate one so that it can steal your credit card info. 'Tis the season for fakery. With that in mind, the first thing you can do is shop trusted sites and apps only. Only download apps from official app stores, such as the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. For websites, don't click on links, say in an email, but instead, always type the URL into the address bar so you know for certain that you are on the official page. Finally, give yourself an added layer of protection by paying via a method that will cover your losses, even if the company ends up being bogus. Here's a pro tip. Almost all official sites will use HTTPS in the address bar to ensure an encrypted connection between the retailer and shopper. Number 2, 'tis the phishing season. While you're out here hunting deals, cybercriminals are phishing for you. Super good deals are an especially great bait for bad actors who are looking to steal your financial information or even your identity. With that in mind, you should automatically mistrust any deal that crosses your screen. We know we already said it. We're going to repeat it because it's so important here. Never click on links in an email. If the deal is the bait, then that link is the hook. Instead, if you see something in an email that looks enticing, type the online store's URL into a web browser yourself. If it's the real deal, it will be on the brand's homepage. And if it's not, you've just avoided getting caught. Here's another pro tip. If a deal seems too good to be true, it's probably a scam. Number 3, don't store your payment info. While you're hunting through site after site, making purchases after purchase, you'll be peppered with requests to start new accounts and save your credit card information. As convenient as it might be, we strongly suggest you deny these requests, particularly during holiday shopping. This is because the more places your personal and financial information is shared, the greater the risk that it will be exposed in a data breach or stolen by cybercriminals in other ways. With that in mind, share, save, and store as little personal information as possible on the internet. Always, not just during the most popular shopping season. Pro tip, avoid paying with cash or a debit card. Use a credit card to stay safe and have recourse. Number 4, put a layer between your credit card and the scammers. Why not avoid putting in your credit card info altogether? Third-party payment services such as PayPal, Apple Pay, and Google Pay can put an extra layer of protection between you and the site you're buying from, which also provides an extra layer of protection between you and the bad guys. Here's a pro tip. These virtual payment services are available on most mobile and web-based shopping sites, making online shopping even easier and breezier during the holiday season. Number 5, keep it private. As tempting as it might be to get some online shopping done during your midday Starbucks break, you should never, ever send personal or financial information over a public Wi-Fi network. And yes, that includes any passwords used to log in to accounts. But there is one super easy way to make a public Wi-Fi network private, and that's by using a virtual private network, VPN. When you use a VPN, like the one in Avast One, you cruise the cyber highway in a stealthy car with tinted windows. A VPN is an encrypted connection that hides your IP address and keeps predators from seeing personal information to prevent them from proofing you. So your login credentials, your banking details, and your identity stay protected. The next pro tip, make sure you select your preferred country in the VPN application so the website displays the currency you want to use. Last but not least, always compare prices. Before you hit the digital checkout line, open a new tab and look up the same item in other stores to see if prices are similar. If you haven't heard of the brand before, research comparable products by leading brands to get an idea of ballpark prices. If your item is drastically lower than the others, you need to think about why there's such a drastic difference. Pro tip, this time, let's say it together. If a price looks too good to be true, it probably is. My thanks go to Emma McGowan for her excellent article, which was the inspiration for this video. You'll find her article at the link listed. Stay safe, stay secure, and have a happy holiday season. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Bob. That's good tips for the shopping season. Yes, please stay safe. The bad guys seem to proliferate around the holiday season. So good advice, Bob, and thanks for doing that. All right, those of you who saw the newsletter on Saturday will have looked at our new section. I want to just go over that today with you, and I made a little video about that. So let's have a look at that. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today is Saturday, and I get to have lunch with my wife, and we watch Naughty Styles. That's one of our favorite YouTube channels. Now you're wondering, Naughty Styles, what's going on here? No, it's not what you think. It's a play on words. Nauti is Naughty Styles, which is nautical. And Victoria and Rico travel the world looking at yachts and reviewing them for you. It is a great channel, and they produce a video a week, comes out on Saturday morning, and we have a great lunch watching the show. You know, there are so many interesting people on YouTube doing interesting things. You know, I spend a little too much time watching the videos. However, I do subscribe to over 400 channels. I find it so fascinating and wanted to share some of my experiences with you. At Tech for Senior, we have a newsletter, and the newsletter comes out on Tuesdays and Saturday. So I've added a new section to our Saturday newsletter that will be Ron's favorite YouTube channels. And this week, we started by having Naughty Styles as my first edition in the Saturday newsletter. To subscribe to our newsletter, you can go to www.techforsenior.com. It's free, it's ad-free, and we don't want any personal information about you. It's mostly a communication tool that we can use as Tech for Senior to communicate our agenda. And on Saturday, you'll see the agenda for our Monday show. Let me just show you what's going to happen in this section. So this is the new section in our Saturday newsletter. You'll see it says the best YouTube channels, Ron's favorites. And today we're featuring Naughty Styles. That's Nauti Styles. This is Victoria Enrico's channel about yachts. So each week you're going to find that I'm going to have a new channel on here. You'll see at the top here is the caption of their YouTube channel. So you'll see and be familiar with that when you go to their site. So that's what we're seeing here. Following below that, you'll see the channel name. Following that, you're going to see the URL. So if you look here, you'll see that this is the URL. This is actually the web link to their channel. If we click this, you'll see that we come to the Naughty Styles YouTube channel, and you'll be able to choose under videos all the videos that they have done. And this is, of course, the one that you'll find in the playlist. Now, when we come back, you're going to find one of my favorite videos from the channel. So if it's a cooking show, then you'll find one of my favorite recipes. And I'm going to put one of these in, and that's going to be right next to the one of my favorite videos link here. Just click that link, and it'll take you right to one of my favorite videos they do. And then the last one here is Ron's favorite YouTube channels. And just as Ray does with his music, and we put all the music Ray does into Ray's playlist, this is Ron's favorite YouTube channels. And I'm going to, as we review these channels over the next year, I'm going to put them all into this list. So if we click on this button now, we're going to go to my channel, and you'll see all the links there in what we call a playlist. So this is a new feature in our Saturday newsletter. As readers, if you're channels you follow, send them to me at this email address. And what we'll do is we'll put them in the newsletter as well. And over the next year, we're going to build up a whole set of great channels that we can spend a lot of time watching. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And even Gail is going to put in some knitting and crafting sites. So there'll be lots of selection for everyone. I'm so excited. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Remember that like and subscribe. And also, you know, with over 100 million channels, the choices are limitless. So let's have some fun with this, but you can only do that if you subscribe to our newsletter. Keep an eye on the Saturday edition. Let's have some fun. We'll see you soon. All right, so we're going to have some fun with that. And next week, I will tell you right now what it's going to be. It's going to be a cooking show one. It's Sam, the cooking guy. We'll have him on. He has 3.3 million subscribers. He is a YouTube superstar. I'll have all the information about Sam, the cooking guy, next week. So watch the Saturday newsletter. If you don't subscribe, you won't see it. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
I certainly am. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. The side search panel in Google Chrome browser, I'm Hewie Poplock. The side search panel in the Google Chrome browser is not yet a part of the browser. You have to turn it on. It is a flag that's available if you turn it on. So let's see how to do that. In the address bar, we're going to type in Chrome://flags. Once we're in the flags, we need to search for the side search panel. We have found it. Now we have to enable it by doing the drop down and finding enabled and clicking on it. We then have to restart or relaunch our browser. As you can see, we've now enabled the side search. Let's take a look at the side search panel in Google Chrome. We just go to a website, we won't see the G in the upper left-hand corner. It is a side search panel, so you have to have done a search. So let's close this and open a new tab. And now let's do a search for Tech for Seniors and find the website. When we click on that, we now see the Google logo up here. If we click that, we see the side search panel. And what we can do is take a look at another website. Again, it has the G there. So if we close it and look at this website, we can click on the G again. It opens the same search. So we don't have to redo the search. We don't have to have an extra window open. We have our search always available as we look at different pages. Now we can also look at, if you look at the top, news, shopping, or images. So if we click at images, we will see a lot of images dealing with Tech for Seniors. Now you have to remember, you may not be able to use them because of the copyright. And so be careful when you're using any of those, but you can see that they're there. You can go back to all, and you can see all of the information. Sometimes I like to open up another tab. If you open another tab, and you'll see I right mouse clicked and it says open link in a new tab. I open it in a new tab and then go to that tab, that G or the Google side panel is not available. I have to go back to this one here and it's there, but it's not in the new one. What happens now if we go to another by opening a new window? Let's try that. Open in a new window. And again, we don't have the side search panel available in that window. We have to go back to the original. So that's the Google side search panel, which we've enabled. And if I don't want it anymore, I can go back and disable it as well. If I no longer want to use the side search panel, what I can do is I can go back to the flags. You'll see that the side search is here and it says enabled. I can now disable it. Tell it to relaunch. Now it's disabled and will not work. This has been the side search panel in the Google Chrome browser. I'm Hewie Poplock.
That's cool. I think I'm going to use that. That's interesting.
Oh, I had not tried it until I started to work on the video, and so I had to learn by my mistakes and then go back and work on the video.
Yeah, but I like it. I think that's going to be good. I think it's good. Ray, just before we get going, I want to say goodbye to our YouTube fans over on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming. We are moving now into Ray's music session. I've put the link in the chat for the for our premieres video. If you have to leave now and come back, then the link is there for you. If you want to pop over now, we have room in our Zoom meeting for you if you want to come over and participate in the Q&A. If you have any EV questions or questions on anything, we'll be happy to let you in. Otherwise, we'll see you in another week. So thank you for coming. And Ray, take it away.